Hi, welcome back. My name's Amanda and I am a specialist in undetectable makeup. So if that's the type of product and application you're looking for, you came to the right spot. Today I'm going to show you how I use this single compact to do my entire face, leaving a very natural, undetectable application in real life. If you were to be with me in real life, I'm not playing foolery on the camera. You're going to see exactly what you see on this video. There isn't going to be noticeable makeup. There's not going to be creasing and texturing, and I'm going to do it all with a thin single layer. This is a makeup brand that I actually can color match you for, so if you're interested in building your own custom compact, I can be able to help you with that. So the very first thing that I like to do when I start my makeup, well, first of all, always have on sunblock. I always put sunblock on a half an hour before I actually go to do my makeup. What I want to do first is to enhance my skin. I want to add color back in, and I want to bring depth and life to my skin. Being mature and not having the beautiful young skin that I used to have, I have to do a few things in order to sculpt and bring it back up. The first thing I want to do is add in a little bit of bronzer to the areas of my face that would hit and be kissed by the sun first. So that's what I like the shape brush for. Just lightly tap it in. We don't need a lot of product to do this. And then I like to go in the areas, oops, I actually do have quite a bit of product on. I must have already tapped it in there before I started. Go ahead and hit the areas of my forehead that would attract to the sun and would be kissed by the sun naturally. Kind of keep it away from the center and work around the full area. Now, the reason I choose bronzer to do this versus a contour is because contours typically are a full 100% opacity. And I try to avoid products like that on my skin as I've matured because I want to have a very sheer glowing presence and I want my skin to stay looking like skin. I just want to get rid of the areas that have blemishes, distractions, things that I don't want seen, but I want to keep the rest of my skin, like the integrity of my skin, intact. A little bit of bronzer again, and I'm gonna keep that on the high areas of my cheekbone and do the same thing on the opposite side. And I work around my face the entire time. I don't just stop and do one area. By doing this, it really helps to achieve that natural glow that I'm going for. And when I'm working with cream products, which are ideal for mature skin, is because they kind of warm to your skin and they're a little bit more malleable. So I can continue to work them and move them to the depth of opacity that I want so that I can really achieve that natural glow and get my skin to just look so much more youthful and pretty. Now, when you get a color match by me, I do match you for a foundation. This is my foundation that I keep in my compact. You can say I actually don't use it that often, but I like to give women the option to have it in there because there are days that you might need it. There are days that we might have an area that we need a little bit something extra for, and it's great to have it in your compact. We call these highlights in the makeup product that I recommend to everybody, but the highlight really is your foundation, and it is 100% opacity. So be sure to use it lightly and only address it as a spot treatment. I don't want you to put foundation all over your face because we will lose that skin integrity if you do that. So use your foundation as spot treating. Currently right now, I don't have a lot of stuff that I would want it for, so I'm going to stay away from it. I am going to take my brush though and clean it in the little cleaning tile so that I don't have extra product left in that area. I want to take a little bit of contouring, and again, I'll tap it into my brush, and I want to work in the hollow of my cheekbone. So what I'm gonna do is stick it in here, and I'm going to do both sides at the same time because I want to get product off my brush and not have too much. Then I'm going to squeeze it just a tiny bit and I'm going to work it up and back. I know a lot of women are nervous to do contouring, but the reason why I recommend this, especially for mature skin, we lose a lot of depth and we lose a lot of volume in our face. So if we can take just a very light approach to our contouring, we can actually achieve a lot more with our product and giving our skin that lift and kind of tightening everything back up, almost like you took your face to the gym. What I'm going for here is just a really pretty profile, the front and back, nothing that's really visible, no heavy texture, and I'll just blend that to get it exactly where I want. You could, if you want to enhance and bring your forehead down a little bit, you could keep it really tight to your hairline and add a little bit of sculpting, contouring around your hairline as well. But this is not super necessary. You can kind of decide if you feel like that's something that you do need. The products that I'm using in these areas of my face, I call these the low mimetic zone of your face, meaning that they have low muscle movement. So as much as we talk and we're animated, there's little to no muscle movement in these areas, so they can tolerate products that are a higher opacity. But when we move on to the areas of our under eyes or around our mouth, those areas cannot handle full opacity. If you do put that type of product like concealer, foundation into these type of areas, what's going to happen is they are going to settle, crease, and they are going to show texture. So we're going to use some products that are only about 10% opacity, and that's really what is going to give us the beautiful natural appearance to our mature skin. My dog decided to join us, so if you hear that noise, he's chewing on a bone. And sometimes he moans, but we're gonna let him just stay. We're gonna keep him because he's cute and let him be part of the video, right? So I'm going to use the spot brush to get started on my under eyes. The approach we're going to use with this method is that we're not going to add product under the entire eye. We're not even going to go here and blend it out. You've seen all those before. What we're going to do is be very targeted to just the areas that have excess darkness. And if it's dark, it's typically got blue. So I'm going to look at mine first, and I'm going to move my head down and around so you guys can kind of see the different areas of my under eye that I want to filter away. For starters, this area right here is a very purpley color. So I want to use something that's got a little bit more yellow in it. So I'm going to use Y01, which is this one in my compact here, with my spot brush. What I'm going to do is just barely touch it into the makeup. There's so little product on here, and that's really the key. I'm going to take my compact and I'm going to address just the area of my under eye that is that dark purpley color. And I want to eliminate that shade before I were to move on to the next level of color. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. If you see me doing this in my compact, I'm switching, wiping it off so that I don't have that color on to go to the next color that I want to address. So it gets a little bit lighter down in here and it gets more blue, not quite as purple. So I want to use 03, which is an orange shade, in order to get rid of that blue because of the tone of blue that it is. So I'll take that orange and I'll tap it just on the lighter area that turns more to that blue color. Most women have very similar under eye tones. We might just have it placed in different areas. So I like to color match and look at your skin for you in order to tell you what colors you need and kind of where to start placing them. I have that same tone in the corners of both of my eyes. So I'm going to use that 03 to filter those away instead of moving on to the next tone, because I know that that's exactly what it is. So I'm going to take care of that first on both sides. When I look straight at the camera here, hopefully you can tell this, the trough, I don't know what else to call it, the divot, the trough, the hollow part of my under eye has a lot of green in it. So I want to use something that's got a little bit more red. And I know that in the compact they look pink, and they are, but they just have red in them. So I'm going to go to the R01 and I'm gonna work just in the trough of my under eye here. And by taking and staying just specific to that area, what I do here, and I have a little bit of green right in that upper corner. So I will touch, oops, see how I've got a little bit too much there? That's okay, I'm gonna work it down here and then I'll come back. I'm gonna tap that and blend that completely filtered away. And you can see the difference between the two under eyes and taking away that trough. See, I told you, he's got that bone. I'm gonna do the same thing on this eye. By targeting just the few areas of my eye that are a distraction, I get a really refreshed look to my under eye without layers of product. But I still feel like right here of my under eyes is just a little bit dull. It's kind of a little bit yellowy, sinewy, if you might like that term. So I'm gonna use something with a violet. I'm gonna take the fluffy side of my spot brush and I'm gonna put it into the VR1 because it's just kind of that tone, that yellowy, greenish, maybe jaundice sort of view. I don't know, those are all terrible words, but you get the idea of what the color is, right? So I'm gonna take that feathery approach and I'm going to just take that and feather it under my eye right here, not going up all the way because I wanna stay away from the areas that have the most movement and creasing. And I'm just going to lightly shear. This is like the thinnest sheer application, but because of this, now I get like super bright, refreshed under eyes that look like literal skin because they practically are. There's only the sheerest amount of a 10% opacity on top of them, but because the colors that I'm using are pigmented and the complementary shade to the color that's there, it filters it away. And I can move my eyes, I can do all the talking animation that I want. It's never going to settle and it's not going to shift. That is the beauty of this product. I do want to add in a little bit of soft pink flush to my cheeks. So I want to just balance where I have color to bring that back in. And I'm gonna take it just onto kind of the apple part of my cheek and a little bit back here, just in the areas that don't have that natural pink already added to them. When it comes to my everyday makeup look, that's pretty much all that I do, adding a little bit of life to my skin, filtering away my under eyes, and maybe touching a blemish or two. So if this is a method that interests you, and this is the type of application that you would like for your own personal makeup, be sure to follow my channel. I'm going to do a lot more in-depth education on this. I'm planning to post a new video once a week in order to be able to help you guys a little bit more. And I could go into other topics of this makeup, but this is just my quick everyday makeup look so that I feel refreshed and young and youthful. So if you want a color match, in my bio, I have a free virtual color match. It takes 2 minutes and you'll get your custom colors back within 24 hours. So thank you guys for hanging out with me and being so kind and nice. I'm so grateful that you're here. I will see you next time.